Hey guys, it's Allie. Welcome to VirtuAlly, where I share with you what I discovered this week in the world of virtual reality. It was recently announced that the screenplay for the movie adaptation of Ernest Cline's novel Ready Player One has been completed. For those of you who have never heard of the book, it takes place in a future where everything sucks and people escape their awful lives by logging into a virtual paradise. The screenplay was written by Zach Penn and then handed over to Warner Brothers, who got the rights to the film in 2010. The big question right now, though, is how Zach Penn will manage including all or even some of the many pop culture references that the book uses so heavily. We've got Ghostbusters, X-Men, Star Wars, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, The Breakfast Club. Licensing this stuff is going to be hugely expensive, but Zach Penn said he didn't let that hold him back, plus he had a lot of help from Ernest Cline during the whole process. And the newest development is that Warner Brothers has just offered Christopher Nolan the job of directing the film. Now this is a ways off, we're looking at maybe 2016 before the film comes out. But here's kind of why I'm so interested in the success of this book. If you look at the idea of the Zeitgeist, which is German for spirit of the time, then it's really interesting to note how around the same time this book was published was also when VR started really gaining traction in the tech world again, and Oculus launched their super successful Kickstarter. It's obviously something that's on a lot of people's minds, and it's manifesting all over the place in pop culture, in technology. A lot of people are picking up on something at around the same time. So you could argue that a zeitgeist of today is centering around the growth of things like VR and AR. Also, can we talk about how cool Ernest Cline is? That motherfucker drives a DeLorean named Ecto-88. He drives the car from Ready Player One. Can we please just get him here on the show, please? It's important that we do that. And speaking of the zeitgeist, the next thing I'm going to talk to you about today is all of these new 360-degree content sharing / streaming platforms that are cropping up recently. Now first you got Vcimo, which aims to be the main platform for sharing and viewing immersive and VR content. And then there's Vue, which aims to be the main platform for sharing and viewing immersive and VR content. And then there's Little Star, which, you know, same. Now, even though all of these companies do seem to be working towards a nearly identical goal, there are some differences between them. Vcimo, for instance, seems to put a really strong focus on user privacy. Their Kickstarter page states that they want their users to be able to enjoy streaming VR content without having their data sold. Vue, from what I can tell, sees value in building a strong community and puts a lot of emphasis on the social nature of their platform. And apparently with Vue, you can even sell your own original 360-degree content. And Little Star has already launched their first app, which includes support for the Gear VR, plus their API is already available for developers. Personally, I think they all sound really cool, and I'm really looking forward to checking them out when they're live. Now, these platforms won't be the only attempts made at becoming the YouTube of VR, but as much as I love seeing people really getting out there and trying to take what is the most obvious and logical next step in experiencing VR content, I think that the YouTube of VR is probably going to be YouTube. Let's look at some of the things that have happened recently. Apple has just started hiring VR and AR programmers. Facebook bought Oculus, and Google, who owns YouTube, just invested a shitload of money into Magic Leap. The jig is up, they know about VR, and you can bet your cute little butts that they're gonna do something with it. Probably lots of things. And creating the YouTube of VR isn't going to be a tough mental stretch for them to make. I would honestly be shocked if they weren't already working on it. And there's not just YouTube. Remember who bought Oculus? Facebook. Do you know what else Facebook owns? Instagram. Just think about that one for a second. Now that doesn't mean I think these other guys can't do it. I just think they have a really big job ahead of them with possibly very little time to make it happen. I'm really interested to see how this all plays out. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is touching stuff in VR with your bare hands. Bare hands. The Department of Computer Science at the University of Bristol, UK, has developed a technology that gives you the sensation of touching a floating invisible object using high-frequency sound waves. When the sound hits your hand, the force created by the waves puts pressure on your skin so that you actually feel something. This technology is actually an improvement on a previous version of their ultra-haptics technology, which used ultrasonic radiation in the air over a computer display. What brought it all together, though, is when they thought to add a leap motion sensor to track your hand position, so the system can actually send sound waves to your hand at the correct time to create the illusion that you're touching different areas of the object. At this point, they're not able to replicate very detailed objects, it's mostly just simple shapes right now, but they've said that they should be able to increase the level of detail by using smaller speakers and more of them. Now, I think this is great, not because it's an especially humongous leap forward in haptics technology for VR, but because it's something at all. I've seen a few people say that they don't see the big deal if you're not actually touching a 3D object, but I'm really happy about anything that tricks my brain into thinking that I can feel something that I'm interacting with in VR. Compare it with the haptic feedback in smartphones. That little vibration that you feel when you type or click a link, it isn't what's making your phone follow your commands, but it kind of feels like it is. Something happens in our brains and it creates the illusion of having just a little bit more of a connection with the phone's functionality. Try keeping the haptic feedback settings on your phone on for a full month and then turning it off. You'll immediately feel like something's missing. Links will still navigate, typing will still work, your phone will still do everything it's supposed to do, but you will feel just the tiniest, slightest loss of control. So I really think that having even a little bit more physical connection with what we're doing in VR, whether it's with gloves or a robotic exoskeleton or with super focused sound waves, is going to make all of the difference in our search for true presence. So guys, since it's holiday time for a lot of us, we did not do an interview this week, so let's jump right to our cool VR demo of the week. Radial G Revolved will be coming to Steam Early Access on December 11th, but Brandon over at Pure VR got to try it out a little early. Check it out.
Fastest lap, 2 minutes 5 seconds. Let's see if we can beat that today. Probably won't beat it on the first lap, but second lap we have a chance. Here we go. Check out the scenery. Got asteroids flying around everywhere. The front of the ship looks pretty cool too.
Ooh, it's pretty. So last week I asked you guys what you think will be VR's killer app. I'm a Poutine Eater said, the killer app to me will probably be the equivalent of a browser for the internet. The kind of app that will be able to surf on media's social network, information sites with the ability to make us feel the information. I think that sounds like it could be pretty cool, but personally I would not want to feel most of what I see on the steaming pile of that is my Facebook newsfeed. The Last American Jedi said, the killer app will be the one that puts users inside their favorite movies and TV shows. How cool would it be to experience your favorite movie from the perspective of the hero? Imagine you're Bruce Willis in The Fifth Element, or maybe you're Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. Multipass. And Arad7613 said, the killer app will be Quidditch, duh. So my question to you this week is, with all of these new VR streaming platforms cropping up, would you ever use something like that, and what kind of 360-degree content would you like to see? Let me know in the comments down below, or tweet me your answer at PixelWhipped. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of VirtuAlly. My name is Allie, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Oh jeez. Holy crap, I don't even know where I am. Oh, get some speed going. The sense of speed, rather. This game is fantastic. That's close. Whoa! Here we go. Here we go. Still another banana split coming up. Whoa! 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 Whoa!